Finding your inner strength. Life is tough. There is no way around this. From growing pains to injuries to losses to riding the waves of doing what you need to survive in this world, even when it's crushing your soul, to balancing the overwhelming amount of tasks from work to paying bills and managing housing and basic needs, to connection with your family, partners, and friends. Some seasons can be darker than others, feel more compressive as if life is putting you through the grinder of transformation or stagnation. In those moments, when nothing seems to penetrate the darkness, the gloom, the deep pain within, we may feel like giving up, that it's hopeless to keep trying. And it's in these moments we need to go within and tap into our inner strength. Inner strength is not a fixed trait that some people have and others don't. It's something we all possess, but it can be hidden or dormant, waiting to be called upon. And at least in my experience, when I first started to call upon my own, it felt like grains of sand slipping through my fingers. So many of us struggle with finding our inner strength, seeking the recipe, like reading the instructions on a microwavable dinner, waiting for near instant results. Yet, because inner strength is in the labyrinth of each unique being, there isn't a recipe with specific measurements everyone can follow. A splash of affirmations here, a pinch of gratitude there may not be enough or may be too much. For me, I found my inner strength by asking myself, do I want to thrive or wither? And once I realized I wanted to thrive, which means to me I feel good in my body, mind, and soul, I discovered I lacked personal integrity. This is where I would tell myself, yes, I'll get up at 5 a.m. and run, but kept sleeping in. Yes, I'll start planning more fun things, but continue to work, eat, sleep, repeat. Yes, I'll eat better, but didn't change my diet. Have you ever done this? You are not alone. When I held myself accountable to what I told myself I would do, I began building the bridge of believing and trusting in myself. Like in 2018, when I started writing my new adult fantasy novel, Spark, Book 1 of Fire and Shadow series, I had no idea how to craft a story. Yet, I'd made the commitment, and whether it was good or not, and side note, first version was horrible, there was nothing that would stop me. Because if I stopped writing, it'd be the first hole in the bridge I'd created, the first sign that I no longer chose to thrive. I can't tell you how many days the words weren't coming, or how much I struggled with every single step of the process, or how I chose to miss birthday parties, social gatherings, and lost friends along the way, or when I felt the sting of pushing counterculture and being authentically different. The who do you think you are? To strive to want more, to think you can fill in the blank. You'd be surprised at how, even silently applied, these questions echoed in my soul. And when I quaked inside, doubting every part of myself, and it felt like I was dragging my maimed carcass through suctioning mud, I kept going because the only other option was to wither. Finding your inner strength is your own personal hero's journey. It will be difficult. There may be times it feels crazy or impossible or totally out there, or so lonely it hurts in your bone marrow. Yet, by leaning into that, the sensations and emotions, the fear, the impossibilities, with the intention to learn, to expand, to release the old version of you and move into your next one, that's where you'll find freedom. In 2014, I began to redesign my life. It was messy, it was dark, it was lonely and scary, and I very much felt grounded down by life, caged in by societal expectations. Yet it was the start of my transformation. When I made the decision to thrive, it meant I would do anything. Therapy? Check. Reiki? Check. Past life healing? Check. Psychics? Why not? Eat better? Bam. Working with an herbologist and try plant-based medicine? Heck yeah. Exercise? I was on it. gratitude lists and meditation and affirmations and self-reflection ad nauseum. I even attended to changing how I clasp my hands, switching my thumbs from my dominant to my not dominant. I did these things slowly and consistently. Then I had to go ahead and say I was moving to California. Yep, the whole California coastline called my name, and where I called home no longer felt like a fit. So, in 2016, I left my job, packed my car, and set out to move to California with no job. Even though I'd searched for the better part of a year, no apartment, and no idea where I'd settle, all I knew was I needed to leave. What happened next changed the entire trajectory of my life. Something awoke within me, the untamed wildness that I carry. Instead of landing in California, I ended up driving from national park to national park and explored the vast countryside of the United States, which began healing the burnt out crust of my soul. I unraveled identities. Who was I if I wasn't my profession? I let go of elements and aspects of myself that didn't fit anymore. I surrendered needing to know and leaned into trusting it would all work out, and it did. As I drove alone for months, I began to cultivate the playful, creative side of myself that hadn't shined since I was 7 years old. And when I finally returned to New Hampshire, my soul had fully awakened to the wanderer within me. The responsibilities of life, you know the ones: housing, eating, paying bills, they'd travel with me on my journey. And when it came time, I aligned myself with employment that allowed me to engage in what I called Operation Chasing the Sun. Mhm. Since 2016, I have traveled vastly across the US. I've gone to Morocco, Costa Rica, Canada, and most recently to Peru to hike Salcantay Pass and experience one of the world's greatest wonders, Machu Picchu. Next on the list is returning to Europe, which I'm super excited about. You may ask, why am I sharing all this with you? For context, to better understand how I have dedicated myself to leaning into my inner strength, being true to my inner callings, listening to my emotions and working through them so that I can continue to thrive. Because you can thrive too. Being true to yourself starts with yourself, with the words you say to yourself, the commitments you make to yourself, how you feel about yourself, and how willing you are to rip down the walls of beliefs you hold about yourself, others, and the world. Are you living scared someone will judge you and find you lacking? Or are you the one doing the judging and holding yourself prisoner? My wandering lifestyle has allowed me to write, live, and explore a way of life that could have only happened by leaning into my inner strength, believing in myself, and trusting that even if things don't work out as I forecast them to, something better will come. An important aspect of my journey was that I sought support: therapists, family, friends, editors, coaches. I actively sought to connect with people who believed in the possibilities of my dreams alongside with me, who were either ahead of me in their life creation or their path bumped into mine as we strived for our more. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, and who will be there for you. And don't be afraid to pay them to do this. You are worth it. And sometimes the closest to us are just not able to support us in the way that we need. Over the years of working on Spark, book 1 of Fire and Shadow series, I have surrounded myself with a network of incredible people, such as my friend Brittany Tom from My Marketing LLC, who, thank the C's, is helping me launch my Kickstarter campaign in May. I'll pop a link in the notes below. And just a gentle reminder, finding your inner strength isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. In my case, it's going on 9 years, and I suspect it will continue to the end of my life. There will be ups and downs, days you feel vulnerable and scared, and as long as you are safe, that's okay. Just keep your momentum forward, one action, one intentional thought, one breath at a time, and never forget that you have the strength within you to overcome any obstacle. So, if you're feeling lost or uncertain, and your inner strength feels like grains of sand slipping through your fingers, know that some granules got caught in the grooves of your hand and their dust collected in your palm, and that each time you reach for it, more and more will stay. Just keep reaching for it and know that you have the power within you to find your way. Believe in yourself and build your inner bridge of trust. Be who you are, be true to who you are, but take care of your mind. Take care of your mind and body and surround yourself with supportive people. You have the inner strength to overcome anything. You've got this. Stay marvelous.